Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious, and don't call me Shirley.
When this comes out, or if it does, we are currently being tailed by Cuban intelligence here in Havana, Cuba. I came here, I've been wanting to make a video for so long about life in communism and showing people what communism is like in a place like Cuba. And when people think about communism, they typically just think about how communism is supposed to make everything equal, whether it be the amount of money someone makes or how food's distributed and how the markets are then controlled by the government. However, something that people do not think about, including myself, is how in communism, they do not have freedom of speech. They don't have freedom of press.
Hi guys, welcome to Go See Gail. Okay, so we are following Nick Shirley. He is in Cuba right now. He went there to see how communism works and what it looks like to live in a communist country. And he's a little in over his skis over there. He's in some hot water and hopefully he gets himself out of it. We're gonna let him tell the story.
And therefore they want to make sure everything that is posted or out in the world about their country is filtered or censored. So here in Cuba,
I'm not quite sure why that is. They don't need to be censored. We have a good idea about how cruddy that country is due to communism. Not going to be able to keep that from the American people. We know it's not great over there, okay?
as soon as I arrived into Cuba, I did everything that you need to do to come into Cuba as far as the documentation that it takes to come into Cuba. Right now, there's a big problem taking place here in Cuba, the largest humanitarian crisis they've had in maybe 50 years. And there's no oil or gas due to the blockade after Trump and the United States took over and captured Maduro. So Venezuela is no longer supporting Cuba with any oil or gas, and that's
probably because of Trump. Trump's making it so Cuba can't get oil, right? So that's why the country's even poorer than it was before. So that's not due to communism. That's due to our president being a bully, kind of. And believe me, I'm on his side. I'm on the right. It's not just communism. It's because of what's been going on in that country due to some of the decisions that he has made. It's made life a lot harder in Cuba.
It also affects everything that they have, essentially, between whether it be the food or from it being the lights and the power shortages here, or just the gas alone. Here in Cuba, you hardly see any cars driving around because nobody can afford gas. For 1 liter of gas, it's $10.
Wow.
So I go out at the airport. They seize all of my cameras. They seize both my GoPros, my meta glasses. These are not my meta glasses. All my microphones. However, the only thing they don't take is my iPhone camera. That's what I'm filming this on right now. They don't take my iPhone camera, and somehow they didn't get this microphone that was in the very, very bottom of my backpack. So we get out and we go start to make the video asking Cubans about life in communism, showing what's going on with the blockade, showing kind of the downfall of
civilization. It's crazy when you're under the stress like that and you really just want to get your video out. You see the rawness of his videos, because we're all content creators, we're all editing. And but he seems just like, I gotta get this out or they're gonna come get me.
Of Cuba.
His parents must be.
One sec, I'm working on getting this out. Right now, we're currently planning our escape route out of Cuba right now.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious, and don't call me Shirley.
Had to respond to take a message to get out of here somehow. So we go out into the streets and we start filming this video. We're showing people what life is like in Cuba right now, how there's hardly any cars out in the streets. The buildings are like crumbling, essentially. All the university is destroyed, the University of Cuba. There's hardly any food out for the people, and just the mass poverty that's taking place, and asking people about things such as communism, what life is like in Cuba. Well, when we're doing one interview near a hospital where there's a huge line outside the hospital, because here the hospitals aren't even working, essentially. The lines are taking forever, And with their hospital and the government controlling the hospital, that also affects the power. So right now you currently have surgeons doing operations with flashlights because there's no power inside of the hotel in the hospitals. Right now I'm in the only hotel in Havana that has 24/7 electricity 24/7 because this is the only one that has that access. That's what the reason why I booked this hotel was because their website was the only one that was operating 24/7. All the other ones weren't, so that's why I was able to get this hotel. And anyways, we're filming this video, and when we're next to the hospital, we see undercover cop roll up on us, and my security guards that are with me, they detected him, and then all of a sudden there's another one. So we hop back in another taxi.
You know, people are always talking about how Nick Shirley needs to really beef up his security. He says he has a couple guys with him. Could be more, but that's good because he really does put himself in some dangerous situations. I've been watching this kid way before he did all the Leering Center and all that stuff. I was watching him when he was rolling up on illegals selling stuff in the streets in New York City a couple years ago, maybe like a year ago or a year and a half ago.
How much?
Yo, what's up? We don't do no fucking camera. The fucking
Hey. How much for Gucci?
Gucci 20.
Oh, look, they're picking everything up.
How much you got?
How much money does somebody make here on Canal Street selling fake Gucci?
I sell in 2 months. I make 1,000. Yo. I can.
Everyone wants a photo. We're here in New York City. Oh, I don't have money for Minnie Mouse. Illegal migrant scams have taken over New York City as they control multiple blocks and sell counterfeit items, while some wear shirts that say "I'm not a scammer," to trapping you in a photo with Pedro Parker in Times Square. These scams have exponentially grown as New York City welcomed foreign-sized armies from Africa and Latin America run lawless in America's biggest city. I hit the street to see these New York City scammers firsthand, and not only do these scammers yell when they see a camera, they also attack. And as soon as I stepped onto Canal Street, I was approached by one of the scammers. No, I'm good. Thank you. No, I'm all right. Think so. Are they real?
Yes, of course.
Really? How'd you get them?
No, that's our business.
It's your business.
Listen, that's the market.
Oh, okay.
That's the market. Anywhere in the world, there is a market that people can get everything they want with cheap price.
Oh, black market. Okay.
That's black market.
Black market?
Brother.
How much?
Now, give me 150.
150?
You know that's black market. Really.
Yeah.
Take video for you.
And apparently a camera to these guys is like kryptonite. Next thing I knew, a whole entire group of guys came to try and take my camera.
He's taking me video. Let me see.
Delete the video first.
Stop it.
Delete the video.
He was getting in their face, and the only reason they didn't pummel him was because, you know, they had cameras. In this situation, they took all his cameras away from him. So you can come here. There's 12 categories in which you can come, and journalist activities is one of those. So therefore, that is why I came. And right now, it is currently 9:30, and we have Cuban intelligence down in the lobby of the hotel right now. Working to essentially try to round us up and potentially imprison us or make it so we cannot leave Cuba. If they capture an American citizen, that's going to give Trump all the reason to invade and get crazy and really take down Cuba. So I don't think that they're going to do that. Plus, the U.S. is blocking oil to the country. He'll just make it worse for them. So I don't think that they're going to kidnap Nick Shirley. However, crazier things have happened. There's journalists who have had their heads cut off and they filmed it, showed it to America. So I don't know if Nick Shirley knows about that. And I'm sure maybe his friends and parents have probably told him, you really have to be careful because nicer guys have gotten killed and had their heads cut off just for doing some reports over less intense topics. I think he'll be fine. We're all kind of watching and following the story to make sure he's cool. He really does need to make sure he is beefing up that security because even right now, you know, he has security with him, but he's trying to escape Cuba. Sometimes no matter how much security you have around you, you're not always covered. That's a very vulnerable, scary place to be. So let's pray for Nick Shirley because he's not going to stop. You know, that's what I like about him. But he is a little getting too big for his britches right now, because that's not a good country to be in. It's not a good country to be trapped in. So let's pray for Nick Shirley. This has been Go See Gail. Like, share, and subscribe. And I'm out.